how common is a dream involving somebody that we've loved and lost in that kind of league table of common dreams that we have?
It's a very common, Stephen. It's the 20th most common dream that people have of a loved one who's no longer with us.
So it's right in there as something that's kind of in the forefront of our minds a lot of the time. So if that's something that is bothering you this morning, or you've got, another dream that is bothering you, is it a nightmare? When does a dream become a nightmare?
It becomes a nightmare when you start to turn up the volume a wee bit, you start to turn up the vividness and the scariness. And dreams and nightmares are not separate things, they're a continuum. And all a nightmare is you really trying to get your own attention, because a dream is a message that you're sending to yourself. And sometimes nightmares get a wee bit shouty about it.
Explain how, when you wake up from a dream that is disturbing, it stays with you, Ian, doesn't it, in a way that a common or garden dream doesn't? Why is that? What are the kind of the ripples that are going on once we become awake?
Because dreams are the fundamental way that we process our emotions, and 98% of our emotions happen unconsciously, so we're not aware of them, as Benjamin Liebe and George Lakoff and Stanislas Dehaene have shown. All that stuff that's happening under the surface will stay with us. And sometimes we'll wake up and we'll just feel a wee bit unsettled or a bit anxious and not know why. And then during the day, we will see something that reminds us of that dream, and it will trigger that emotion again. And that's a good time to engage with it and start to do something about it.
Here's a text from Sue this morning. Morning, Sue. I have a recurring dream about a locked room at the end of a corridor in an old house. Other people can access this room. It's just not me. I'm terrified of what's inside or even approaching it. I've had this dream for many years, but I've no idea what it's all about. So, locked room at the end of a corridor. Other people can get in, but she can't get into it. What's that about?
This dream sounds really scary for Sue, but actually, like most scary dreams, it's really positive and healthy. Dreaming about a room in a house is the 9th most common dream, this room that you didn't know was there. The house is the number one dream symbol, and the reason for that is we use a house to symbolise something that's got insides and outsides, and because houses have that, so do we. All the rooms in the house represent different parts of our character. So the kitchen is how we look after ourselves and look after others. The bedroom is where we're most comfortable and feel most private and intimate. The bathroom is where we go to work with our needs and understand those. A locked room or another room suggests there's some part of our character or personality that we have the opportunity to develop. And so because in this dream, Sue feels that other people can access that part of their character, but she can't. And it's down some corridor. Corridors are usually something to do with a career, like a corridor of power, something that you travel down. So when Sue approaches this locked room, it's some part of herself that she has the opportunity to develop. And it might be some talent, some awareness. She might want to go someplace. She might have some ambition, some aspiration in waking life. But she's not giving herself permission to do it. So in the dream, when the dream occurs again, Sue, what you can do is just approach the door and just give the handle a wee wiggle, because it's you that's locking the door, and you need to give yourself permission to open up that part of your character.
Wow. So you can make, if you know you've got a recurring dream, you can think about it and try and motivate yourself to move forward in the dream.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful thing to do, Stephen. So one of the things I do with my clients, if they have a dream like this, and it is quite a common dream, we actually do it in waking life. It's a process I call waking reality. So either in their house or in some other place with a door, we'll just practice going up and down the corridor and just getting that feeling of put your hand on the handle, and you can see people getting a bit anxious about it because they don't know what's in there. And then usually we've got some really nice surprise, some treat in the room. So when they go in, they get a really, really pleasant surprise about something that's in there. So you can do that. You can take the actions from a dream and play them out in real life as a way of then working them back into the dream and letting the recurring dream go.
You never tempted to go on the other side of the door and put a white sheet over you?
It has been discussed, but we can't do that professionally. That'd be terrible.
That's why I'm not a psychologist. A disturbing dream that is recurring and is really bothering you. We'll try and get to the bottom of it with Ian this morning. Straight to the phone lines. Carla has called us from Glasgow this morning. Morning, Carla.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
No problem. Tell us about your dream, Carla.
I really wanted to ask about sleep paralysis. Luckily, I only get it about 4 times a year, but my cousin gets it about once a week. It's when you wake up, you're fully awake, but you're terrified and you're scared to move.
And prior to you waking up, are you aware of what's been going on in a dream?
No, you can just you can just wake up and you're terrified.
Right.
I don't know if you call it sleep paralysis. That's what I call it, because if it happens, I can't move. I've got to lie there awake for about 15 minutes.
Wow. Ian?
Carla, thanks for sharing that with us. It is very common, and you've got exactly the right term there, Carla, is sleep paralysis, because that's what it feels like. Although you're awake, your body feels paralysed, and there's a fundamental physiological reason for that. When we go to sleep, and particularly when we dream, we secrete a substance from our brainstem called glycine, and the purpose of that is to stop us acting out our dreams. It effectively paralyses your anti-gravity muscles, so your back, your arms and your legs. And sometimes what happens is your mind wakes up before your body, Carla. So your mind will be wide awake, but your body still feels paralysed. And the usual cause of sleep paralysis is just poor quality sleep. And it can be that you're getting disturbed in your sleep, you're maybe in a noisy environment, you've maybe had a wee bit too much coffee or wine during the day, all those sorts of things. So the best way to get rid of sleep paralysis is just to make your bedroom a haven, and this goes for your cousin as well. Make it really quiet, make it really dark, make it quite cool, get all your electronics out of there. As soon as you get better quality sleep, then the sleep paralysis will start to go away. And when you do experience it, Carla, as it's fading away, in that 15 minutes, just try doing some tiny, tiny wee body movements. Just like try wiggling your toes or moving your fingers a wee bit. And as you do that, you'll start to realise that you've got control of your body again and start to move.
How does that sound, Carla?
Thank you so much. That makes perfect sense. I do live in a very noisy place. Sometimes it's bin lorries, sometimes it's cars. So I really appreciate your advice there. Thank you.
Do you know what, Carla? Come on, the next time we do dream surgery with Ian, try what he suggested and then call in again and let us know if it's made a difference, will you?
I will do. Thank you very much.
Right, nice speaking to you, Carla. Good luck with that. Thank you very much indeed. Gosh, that's interesting, and hopefully that will help a lot of other people as well. Right, we've got a couple of big stories we need to talk to you about regarding dreams, but also keep those questions coming. It's 80295 to get in touch. 11:25 Friday morning. It's BBC Radio Scotland.
Absolute snow.
Right now, though, we're on dream surgery with our dream expert, psychologist Ian Wallace, in the studio with me this morning, answering all your questions on dreams, especially difficult dreams maybe that you've encountered. Some interesting research out this week from a doctor in New York who claimed that vivid dreams about long-lost loved ones may predict looming death for patients who are in hospices. So people who are reaching end of life, who are dreaming a lot about long-lost loved ones, it may be a suggestion that the end of their life is coming. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm always... I just find it really difficult to work with those types of perspectives, because it can suggest to someone that they are going to die in some sort of premonition. So it's not an approach I would take. One of the things that does happen, though, is how we look at the subject of death in dreams. And death is never about death in a dream. It's about some transformation in your waking life. So when you dream of a loved one who's passed away, you're realising that you can transform some part of your own life to embody some of their characteristics. People who are in a hospice, and I've spent quite a lot of time in hospices with relatives and with clients, they are undergoing a big, big transformation. And so they will dream of loved ones who have passed on. And there may be some beliefs that those loved ones are there waiting for them. And that's a very comforting belief to hold. But I wouldn't use it as any sort of premonition or prediction that the end is near if you dream of a loved one who's passed on.
Is that maybe informed by their circumstances and by the fact that, they're surrounded, often in these circumstances, by conversations about end of life?
Yes, and it's like any difficult transformation or any challenging transformation, it's really good to talk about it and have a conversation about it, because as you do that, you can start to engage with those deeper emotions.
Ian, we're out of time this morning. It's been a busy one though, and hopefully we'll hear again about how your advice on that call there worked out.
Yeah.
It'd be good to follow up on that, wouldn't it?
Well, for Carla, so if she says she lives in a really noisy place, so it might require earplugs, it might require anything, but just that whole idea of having a really quiet, dark, still, cool haven. And if you get good quality sleep, you won't get sleep paralysis. And that's why people, shift workers, carers and so on, who work odd hours, often suffer from sleep paralysis because they have poor quality sleep.
We don't spend enough time thinking about that environment that we sleep in, do we?
No, we just think it's time for bed, go and watch something on the iPad and fall asleep. It's not a good process.
You've got to make it a nice space.
A nice space, yeah.
A nice space this weekend. Looking forward to that. Right, Ian Wallace, thank you very much
Thank
indeed
you,
for your
Stephen.
time.